Okay. Call for an uprising would be really upset if he saw what I just spent my possible bean money on. I'll show you that because you can bear witness to the awesomeness here. Ugh. That's pro camera work. Check that shit out, huh? Cody Rhodes. Nice. Do you know how many I like this camera work. It's good, huh? Take you for a little ride. How many cans of beans I could have for that? How many cases of beans I could have had for how much was he? Oh Jesus, I'm not even gonna say. I'm not even gonna say. That would be embarrassing. Just thinking of it though, I actually do have cases of beans in my closet. Yeah, I'll put it in right here. I'll show you right here. There you go. Peter Gabriel. 4 different horses. Or horses, 4 different ones. Or maybe I'm confusing that with Pink Floyd. Anyway, the new Peter Gabriel single release. This is the 5th one. And from the very first one, I said I wasn't going to do this. And here we are, 5 months in. Probably almost halfway through the album, because it's supposed to be 12 tracks. If it's even an album, but you know, a collection of singles. This is going to be a Schizo Garage episode, I think it is, because we're pretty much done with walking Waikiki out here. But it's good. I like it a lot. This is the best one. This is the best one. I think I said this is the best one. No, I didn't. I said this is the best one for the first one. Only in hindsight. That was Panopticon. And then the last one, that was like Randy Newman or something. I thought the music was good, but the lyrics are terrible. The lyrics have been bad in all of them. The lyrics for this aren't that bad, but to be honest, I don't think I know what they. I don't think I read them. They didn't jump out at me. I wouldn't have read the other ones. Like, I don't usually give a fuck about lyrics, but especially with Peter, because he's good, you know, and he's never had a problem with that in the past. But man, these lyrics have been bad on all the tracks so far. But these didn't jump out at me in any way, so I guess they're good. They didn't jump out at me as awful as the other ones. And the music is good. Like, and I'm listening to it, right? And I'm like, man, I would have liked this so much better if it was just in a sequence on the album. Like, if this was just a regular, I'd be enjoying this whole process much more instead of being annoyed by it, which I think a lot of people are. Now that I'm stopped, let's take another look at Cody Rhodes here. There he is. It's pretty cool. AEW. I think he's over in WWE now, I think. Like an extra pair of pants. Got some belts there. Very nice, very nice. But yeah, I was just talking about Call for an Uprising channel. Not always, I shouldn't say that. He mentioned once, so I guess that's always. He mentioned that people that collect like figures and toys and stuff. Yeah, and I know it's retarded. I know. I do a lot of things that are kind of retarded, but I've been doing them my whole life, so why break with tradition? But what he was saying basically is to start putting your money into things you could use when the ultimate breakdown of everything is coming. And to that, I get it, right? But I always say, if something is going to break down that bad, there is nothing you can do to prepare for something like that. Having extra food in your closet, I mean, at best, that's just going to be something that you have to defend your house from when people come around looking for it. It's not going to get to that, though. It's never going to be like that. It's never going to be like that. But those guys have to sell their flashlights and their water purification pills. I get it. I understand the whole thing. But as time goes on, you know, those fear porn guys, they just, geez, especially that guy in particular, with these crazy thumbnails of, like, you know, people melting and buildings collapsing and your family has been dead for 6 months and you don't know it yet. And then you get like guys like the Dabo 7. Is that guy doing a Alex Jones impersonation? Because I feel like he's just trolling everybody with that voice. It sounds like a guy doing an Alex. How do I get on these guys? Who gives a shit about these people? This is about Peter Gabriel. And I got to get this done so he won't keep jumping up in the videos reminding me. Yeah, it's good. I like this one. Again, the whole process to me is just frustrating. It's like I much rather would have had an album, and I don't think I'm alone there. I think a lot of people would too. Would rather have the album as just one thing, right? I mean, but this process he's going through, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself because I am with this Peter Gabriel thing. It would be okay to do this if he released music regularly. But he doesn't. This is like the first album in like 20-something years. And I remember before it came out this time last year, he was saying it was going to come out in the early part of whatever. He gave some month. And then as it got closer to the month or the time, he decided to let us know about this thing. Like, yeah, and I know you've been waiting 20 years. So we're going to drag this out as long as possible. And then there's the confusion of the two tracks. Like, which one is the official one? The bright side or the dark side? This one is the bright side mix. And I think I'm pretty 50-50 with the two mixes, I think, so far. Or 30-20, whatever it is. I'm almost split down the middle. Like, I like a couple of the dark side ones. I like a couple of the light side ones. Of course, this one we haven't heard the dark side one yet. But I like it. And I think if I had heard these 5 songs have been released so far in a sequence on an album, I'd be much more forgiving to it. In fact, the lyrics wouldn't be a problem either, because I'd be listening to it and just having it going and, like, you know, moving through the material and not being so concerned about, my ears would have been grabbing it. But when he's doing one at a time, it invites a level of observation that you normally probably wouldn't give it. And if he was releasing Peter Gabriel 3 like this, yeah, great. But this ain't fucking Peter Gabriel 3. This ain't even up. This ain't even up. And I could kind of determine that already, because we're halfway through it, right? I mean, this is track 5. You know, we're halfway through it. But then again, I mean, I saying halfway through it, but we don't. I saying halfway through it, but we don't know what order these are even in. Is this the track? He doesn't say any of this stuff. Like I've said in every review for this thing so far, he's an indecisive guy, famously indecisive, and he's passing the burden of this project onto the consumer, onto the listener. He's passing the burden of putting this album together onto us. It's really strange. It's really, but you know, he's the last guy still doing stuff from Genesis. You know, I mean, Mike's still out there with Mike and the Mechanics, and I mentioned last time that he's doing some Genesis songs now in his set. So I wonder what they're going to be. I mean, I'm sure it's Mike and the Mechanics. He's not going to pull out Supper's Ready or anything. That would be awesome, though. Wouldn't that? It would be kind of funny if he just pulls out all the Return of Giant Hogweed. all these kind of weird left of center tracks, Blood on the Rooftops. I mean, it'll be like, I don't know. You know what it's going to be. He'll probably do a medley, or if he does tracks, it'll be, you know, Invisible Touch, or, you know, the real mainstream stuff. Well, he's got 2 singers. It depends on who can do what. The black guy is good. The other guy's just kind of generic, I think. I forget their names. But is it Roachford? Is it Nick Roachford? Or am I confusing that with doing it for my daughter, Nick Roachford? I don't know. Anyway, Peter's really the last guy doing stuff from that crew. So, of course, if you're a fan of Genesis, you're going to be interested in what he's doing. It's just this whole experience is just, once the album's out, and it exists as a 12-track something, it's just going to leave kind of a bad vibe with me. Like, oh, I remember the year. I remember the year he did that to us. But I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to wrap up. At the end of the 12 months, when we have the two versions of whatever the last track he's releasing is, although he said he might keep going, whatever that means. So, I mean, whenever he's decided to turn the tap off on this thing, then what tracks make the album? I talked about all this stuff before, just whatever, it's the same questions. He doesn't answer any of these because he doesn't know. He doesn't fucking know. That's what's going on here. I think, like, you know, why did you even say you're going to do an album? Like, he should have just not even talked about it. Like, right when Up came out, he starts talking about how he's going to put out the next one right away. And it's called IO, gives us a title and everything, confidently, like Babe Ruth pointing to the outfield. And then 20 years go by. So, I mean, I don't know. Did people around him say, dude, are you going to do this? Or was he obligated to? Or, I don't think so. He's on Real World Records. He owns the label. It just doesn't seem like he wants to do this. And yeah, he seems engaged when he's talking about the tracks and how he put them together. But he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got a lot of dogs on the fire. I'm not sure, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to think. This whole thing is confusing. And it's one of those situations where you end up with more questions than answers. Like double the questions. And then a dark side mix and a light side mix for every question. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, Genesis Pros. I don't know what to think about it at all. But yeah, this new track's good. But even though it's good, like, I only listened to it a couple times, and I'm just not into it because I feel so, like, worn out by this whole experience. You know, no one's forcing me to be a part of this, but I kind of have to. I feel obligated to because of Genesis and, you know, one of my favorite bands, maybe my favorite band, right? So it's like, and you're not going to get new material from these guys probably ever. This has got to be it. And, well, Steve Hackett is still going to be doing his thing. And, yeah, I love Steve. But it's a little different, you know what I mean? Because, I don't know why, it just is. He never had the prominence or the consistency of a solo career that these guys did. On guitar he may have, you know, but, I don't know. I never got super into his solo stuff, mainly because I just don't, instrumental albums just kind of don't do it for me. I'm a singer, and I like to hear melodies and vocals. And yeah, he's had that stuff, but he's had guest singers. He's not much of a vocalist himself. And every other album is a Genesis tribute where he redoes the old songs. Like, why? I can't think of one artist who had ever wanted to hear their redone hits. And it seems like bands started doing that in this millennium. It's probably because of rights issues. This millennium. That's what it is. In the 2000s, this all started. It was like, you know, the new Journey album comes with their greatest hits re-recorded with this different singer. The new Kiss album has all the old songs. I think this is for licensing because they probably don't own their original masters. There are reasons for it, you know. But it became this popular trend to re-record all your stuff. And I've never seen one instance where that's the preferable version. Like, it's something that I always listen to once out of curiosity. And then it's like, whatever. And that's it. So it's like, I don't care about the redone Genesis songs. You know, whatever. I have the original ones. They're not going to top it. So yeah, he's still doing stuff, but, you know, it's not the same. He's not one of the main power players throughout the whole thing. Well, I guess you could argue Peter was in it less than Steve, but he's a much more prominent dude. He wrote a lot of the shit, and he's, you know, Peter Gabriel. So I don't know. I guess I'm here. I mean, we're halfway through the channel. We're halfway across the channel from swimming. You know, might as well go the whole way. We're already halfway across. But as one of my friends used to say, my friend Steve would say, "What are you swimming to, though?" You know. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.